You don't believe anything Tom has said so far. You're in good hands here with Tom. Vermont Natural Coatings and Vermont Soy are the two companies housed in this building, and basically they were both structured at the same time in 2004 on paper. At the time, I was finishing up some time in Washington, D.C., trying to get back to Vermont. So I formed the concepts of the companies while I was down there, and then moved back to Vermont. There's not the infrastructure is lacking of being able to process here. So we built this facility in 2005 and 6, and it's small as you'll see, but it's a good start to sort of incubate these two companies. And the hope is that, which is part of this larger picture now, is as these companies grow, and collaborating with other companies, we're going to be able to grow into a much larger facility. And a shared space, Tom, I don't know if Tom has shared with some of the concepts we have for very large shared space, eco-green buildings. Right now, the only manufacturing businesses in Hardwick are ag and food based. There's no other manufacturing businesses in Hardwick.
We're in the Hardwick Industrial Park right now.
The Hardwick Agricultural Industrial Park.
And it is all
so that's great. And then we'll get more food companies. And then basically this is what we kind of envisioned, is that all the companies here would be food-based or ag-based. And environmentally safe finish that you'll see here is made from whey protein. So it's a derivative of whey from cheese making. And our goal would be to use someone like Jasper Hill to use their whey and take very high quality cheese and then take their whey and then say finish. But that's another thing of like really sourcing all your ingredients as local as you can, and that's really important. As you see some of the synergies that go on here, a lot of it is, and this local economy is going to be based on how many raw materials can you buy and sell locally. Because there's one thing of selling your end product, because there's only so many people, consumers in rural Vermont, that are going to buy Tom seeds or my tofu or Finish. But if we can source our raw materials here, like the whey, like the soybeans, that would be great.
Then we developed this food system, which we now know to be completely broken, which is based on shipping everything all over the place and producing it in huge industrial ways, and somehow that making sense. So now that we realize that that's totally broken, we're going to a new food system that is more locally based, but is done intentionally for the first time. So it's being designed, it's strategically being, implemented, and there are pockets around the country and world like this being one of the real hot ones, where that kind of consciousness is brought into all the activity.
But if you go to Mateo and Andy's in the Jasper Hill, when they were blasting rocks for 6 months in the winter, and going back and back and hitting another wall of ledge, and they didn't give up, you're like, okay, my little problem I have, one of these things, not a problem, and then you engage even more. So I think that's probably one of the things of the collaboration, not to mention being able to have the trust that you associate with the business that you're working with, to take a loan out, to get a loan, to share or try to steal employees, and things like that.
Borrow money from each other.
Borrow money, not steal. Well, I would love to steal money from a couple of you guys, but borrow employees or share that type of thing, and borrow money. I've to get through my last round of payroll was a loan from one of the business group members.
Who had previously loaned money to somebody else in the group.
Yeah. So that's really great. And that's you can probably get hopefully a sense of that. And that's what's really kind of carrying this movement, along with everybody's belief that this is the right thing to do.
So it's a movement, you say?
Well, I don't know if it's a movement so much. It's probably becoming a movement to us. It's momentum, awareness that's sort of building its own. Because I'm still trying to run a business, 2 businesses, and that's my my businesses have to work. So, but as that happens, when you look at the other things that are going on that you can collaborate with, it becomes this bigger movement, maybe.
I really also think that Pete was pretty humble in his questioning or description of the business group, nailed it really well when he said late in the evening, he said, what I love is that I have my answers at my fingertips. Yeah. Like when I have a problem, I know that somewhere in the business group there's the answer. Yeah. And so you don't feel as isolated in your efforts.
The building's divided into two. We're going to go into Vermont Natural Coatings first, and then we'll go over to see Vermont Soy. So we'll go through here. I think it's all, and we're starting to get written up nationally. This product was invented after about 7 years of research at the University of Vermont, and they got some federal funds to do research from a functional food scientist, who's now one of my partners, to develop this film building property out of whey protein. So they've taken and isolated the whey, isolated the proteins in the whey, and through this process, which we just issued our patent 2 weeks ago, is to basically replace a lot of the toxic binders that are typically found in wood finishes. So the whey is now that binding agent, which is two things happen. One, we're able to reduce the volatile organic compounds and make it safer. But the way in which the proteins are binding, it makes it actually stronger finish. So we have a stronger, safer, environmentally sound product, water-based. And the history of water-based is that typically water-bases have not performed as well as one would like. And most of the solvent-based finishes for the last 20 years have been full of chemicals.
This is like urethane.
Urethane.
For you know,
oil-based
floors,
urethanes.
walls, furniture that stinks, and it's not just the people applying it that get all those fumes, but it's years of it off-gassing in little amounts that create this indoor air quality that's a huge problem that's actually getting legislated out.
So now that's
like in California.
Right, and that's a really interesting point for us for a small company. How do we actually even compete with General Motors and some other big guys? Because they have to change their formulations now. They're being mandated to remove certain ingredients because they're now banned in certain states, and that's going forward. So all these solvent-based finishes that have worked for very well for so long, they're not the same anymore, and they're not working. So it gives us an even better advantage now in competition. That now we're as competitive, if not more.
So what do you mean?
So now we're in 100 stores in 31 states. We started selling about 18 months ago. And next week we're going to the National Hardware Show in Las Vegas with meetings with national buyers. And last November at the Greenville show, we were awarded the top 10 green product of the year for 2008, which really kind of took us from this little Vermont, New England business to a national. So we have we use all organic ingredients, fair trade cocos, fair trade vanilla. It becomes expensive to make, so you have to end up having a premium on it. But then you go against Silk, who once you're in the store, Silk is owned by Dean Food Suiza, which owns about 90% of the shelf space, including orange juice and dairy and soy milk. So every time we've got into a store, another store, it's 2 for 1, so for 3 months, 4 months, until either we get kicked out or they give in. So that's been a little bit of a struggle for that. But does anyone want to try a variety of milk? You got to try one.
Sure.
Chocolate and a garden burger, veggie burger using peach vegetables, and we've got a formulation that has Jasper Hill blue cheese in it. So that's fun, and we're actually going to do that product at the Food Venture Center because they're going to be all set up to do that.